Ben Simmons has decided to treat training camp just like he treated the playoffs and completely no-show. What up? It's your boy B Reed for this episode of To Be Named Later. And we're discussing the former number one pick, Philadelphia 76ers guard Ben Simmons, the 25-year-old point guard who through his career has averaged 14 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 6.9 assists. But he is demanding a trade from the Philadelphia 76ers. He said he's not reporting to training camp and that he will never play another game in the Philadelphia 76ers uniform. How did this all come to be? Well, it all kind of came to a head in the 7-game series between the Atlanta Hawks and the Philadelphia 76ers, in which Ben Simmons averaged 9 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, but shot a putrid 33% from the free throw line and did not shoot a three-pointer. Through his career, Ben Simmons has only attempted 34 three-pointers and only made 5. This has been a strong talking point in Philadelphia and in the NBA, as a guard being paired with Joel Embiid needs some outside shooting to kind of stretch the court and provide room for Joel Embiid. This hadn't looked like a good fit for a while, and it kind of came to a head when Joel Embiid passed it to Ben Simmons late in Game 7, wide open under the rim, and he passed it off to Matisse Thybulle, who missed the layup. That was a big point of controversy in that game. And Joel Embiid even made some comments after that game that I don't think set well with Ben Simmons. So the 3-time All-Star, 2-time All-Defensive Player, and second in Defensive Player of the Year voting Ben Simmons, he was put on the trading block. So this didn't start with Ben Simmons. This started with the Philadelphia 76ers, who made him available. Now, this was a mutual agreement to part ways, and Philadelphia agreed to look for a trade, but their asking price was ridiculous. A lot of people say that they were only really looking for Beal and Lillard, who everyone thought would demand a trade this summer, but he ended up staying with the Portland Trail Blazers. But the asking price was an all-star, a young player, and multiple pick swaps and first-round picks, which no one was willing to meet that asking price with the holes in Ben Simmons' game that we've already talked about. Ben Simmons is still under contract for 4 years. And after they were unable to make a trade in mid-August, owner Joshua Harris went to meet with Ben Simmons to tell him that they weren't able to find a trade and that they wanted to go ahead and go into the season with Ben Simmons. But at this point in time, Ben Simmons had taken a beating in the media and no longer wanted to play for the Sixers. That's when he informed them that he would not be going to training camp and he would be demanding a trade. He also told them it's not his job to increase his trade value so Philadelphia can get what they're asking for. So now we're in a true holdout and a stalemate because Ben Simmons is refusing to go to training camp and refusing to play. Earlier this week, some of his teammates wanted to come meet with him. Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, Matisse Thybulle, but Ben Simmons told them don't waste their time because he's not changing his mind. They were going to fly out to LA to try to convince him to come to training camp and to come into the season to see if they can make it work, but Ben Simmons is not interested at all. So we'll see what comes into play. There doesn't seem to be a strong market to meet the asking price of the Philadelphia 76ers, although the Cleveland Cavaliers are said to be highly interested and willing to meet the asking price. Chris Federer of the Cleveland.com said that all players are available for Cleveland. Although he said that, some are saying that Evan Mobley, recently drafted number 3 by the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Darius Garland, the point guard that has shown that he's a rising star in the NBA, both are said not to be available. But I guess if the Philadelphia Sixers really push for it, they can be had. But the trade package that has been talked about was something involving Colin Sexton and their third-year guard Okoro and multiple first-round picks. Philadelphia 76ers are demanding that there's very limited restrictions or no restrictions on the draft picks that's being sent over. There's no restriction, then those can become lottery picks, and they'll have to send them over. So that's a very steep asking price for a player like Ben Simmons. I think that Ben Simmons can still be successful. I think that he kind of gets a bad rap. It's just a bad fit with Joel Embiid. As I said, he was second in Defensive Player of the Year voting. He's averaged, even in those playoffs where he was a no-show, it's more about his scoring. He was still a defensive monster. He still averaged 8 assists, but agreed, he needs to get his shooting up. But that's it for this episode of To Be Named Later. Peace.